Play.
I want one more thing from you, Francisca. Can you look at the camera? And I want you to say, I am Francisco Jorge, and I am a friend of the show. Can you try it?
I am Francisca Jorge, and I'm a friend. I'm a wait.
Go. It's okay.
I'm Francisca Jorge, and I'm a fan of the show.
One more time. Can you say, I'm a friend of the show?
Friend.
Like amigo.
Friend.
A friend. So, because we joke, we have players come on all the time. They have no idea, but after they've been on, we say, oh, Yelena Ostapenko is a friend of the show. She has no idea. But so if we get you to say, I am Francisca Jorge, or how you say your name, and
I am Francisca Jorge, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect. Thanks, man. Just want you to do me one more thing. I want you to hold the microphone. I want you to look in the... Don't be nervous. I mean, listen, you've just beaten Yelena Ostapenko.
I'm not nervous.
No, you shouldn't be. If you can beat Ostapenko twice in one day, you can do this for sure. I want you to look at the camera and just say, hi, my name is, say your name, and then say, and I'm a friend of the show.
Friend of the show?
Yeah?
Okay. Hi, my name is Susan, and I'm a friend of the show.
Say your whole name for me. That's the only thing I want.
Sorry.
Surname too. No, you're doing great.
You're
doing
cutting,
great.
huh?
Yeah, I'll cut it up. Don't worry. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Thank you very much, Susan.
You're welcome.
Good luck for the rest of the tournament. And I will tag you on Instagram, and you can reject. I do have one more tiny thing, which is I want you to look into the camera.
Yeah.
I want you to say your name.
Yes.
And I want you to say, I am a friend of the show.
I'm a friend of the show. Okay.
Perfect, yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much.
Ready. Play.
Hey, Gokap, how are you?
Hey, John. Good. Thank you. How are you?
Just going to fix my audio. Yep, good. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Are you excited about Swiatek, Beatriz, Haddad Maia? I am, but that excitement might last 2 or 3 games.
I mean, I am. Those 2-3 games could be great games.
No, but listen, there's a reason to go beyond that, because if we look at the semi-final from last year at the French Open, you could have perhaps said the same. I think Swiatek won the first set reasonably comfortably. I don't remember the score exactly, but it was all about the
I
second
remember
set.
like an easy first set and a break, maybe 2. And then Haddad Maia came back. So I have hopes because of that match.
Yeah, me too. I think that's the sort of thing we're putting most of our stock into. There is the added thing that Swiatek in Madrid is not quite the same proposition as Swiatek in Madrid. Sorry, she's not quite the same prospect as she is in Paris. Nice, reasonable start, at least in terms of Haddad Maia. I can see it 15 all on my screen. I'm pretty sure that you will be either half a point or an entire point in front, because I'm always behind. The only person I'm ever ahead of is somebody who's watching on the tennis channel. But that aside, bearing in mind that you're not in North America, I'm pretty sure that you'll be ahead of me. But it's 15 all on my screen.
Yeah, then I'm 2 points ahead of you. I don't want to spoil it.
No problem. But it's funny because I think you said that you were a little bit behind the guys when you watched the Monte Carlo final.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was. So,
but maybe your stream has got better, because if you're 2 points ahead, I see 15-30 now. So our excitement has lasted at least 3 points anyway. So yeah, I think go on.
For another reason why I have kind of hopes for this match, Swiatek type hopes, not a lot, but Haddad Maia is one of those players that will pump herself up no matter who the opponent is, and I have tremendous respect for her in that regard.
The thing is, go on.
I remember like screenshotting her fist pumps when she's like 6-2, 5-1 down.
Okay.
Like, and against Halep in Toronto or Swiatek in Roland Garros. So that might give us competitive games, even if the score seems, brutal.
I like the fist pumps when you're 6-2, 5-1 down, because it shows that the player still believes. It
Yeah.
shows that the crowd and us watching at home that this is a contest, and that's what we invest our time and money in for. And it shows that really tennis, as we almost saw with that Bublik Medvedev match just now, it can change pretty quickly. One break of serve, which can often be just 1 point.
Yeah.
And the complexion can change entirely. You're a double breakdown on clay, but if you suddenly now get one of those breaks back, a little bit of doubt into your opponent, you get love 15 on their next serve, as Bublik did have, I think, on the Medvedev serve at the second time of asking him, trying to serve it out. I can now see Swiatek is 40-30 on her serve. So, yeah, and that's why the fist pump is not insane. I mean, the most dramatic scenario is 5-love, 40-love down. Even then, maybe on the fast indoor court or on grass, yeah, maybe a fist pump at 40-15 would be a bit much, but
you never know.
You get a break back. Was it Rafa said a couple of years ago in Indian Wells when he was a double breakdown to Korda, I think, in the deciding set, but got that back and won the match. Something along the lines of, listen, 95% of the time I lose that match, but if I give up 100% of the time, I lose that match.
Yeah, I remember Indian Wells, I think.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Swiatek holds, by the way, with a unreturned serve. So it's 1-love to her.
Yeah, Haddad Maia is serving her first point of the match for me in my screen. She looked nervous against Sakkari at times, so I'm kind of on the edge when she's serving. She gave up this double break lead in the first set, but then closed it 6-4. Very close game. So I'm curious. It looked like nerves because she did hit some double faults at like 1 break point and 30 all, and I think 5-4. So I don't know how much those will come into play today.
I didn't see that Sakkari match, and I'm a bit disappointed because I just was extolling the virtues of Sakkari's game a couple of days ago. And I still think it's valid that Sakkari, for the first 4 or 5 months, in fact, no, the last 6 months, because she won a 1,000 at the back end of last year and another title as well. For me, she's playing the best tennis of her career. Now, she loses one match this week, and it doesn't change anything for me, but I didn't see that match. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a head-to-head issue for her, because now and then after the match I saw Haddad Maia has a 4-0 lead over her now.
Yes.
So that might be something. I mean, she plays a lot of lefties. It's not just like she's the only one, but I think that head-to-head probably has something for Sakkari.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I agree with you. I think she had a great start to the season, especially compared to last year.
Yeah, exactly.
She looked unhappy at all times.
Yeah, exactly. Change of coach, maybe a bit more belief, but I also think just the tennis. I saw her at close quarters in Portugal, in Hueras, recently, where she did lose a match to Cláudia Tauson, but anyone can lose a match almost to Cláudia Tauson when she's fit and firing, and I hope that Cláudia can return to the top of tennis soon, and just stay fit and healthy. So and I just think that there's a bit of belief there. Now, does that mean that I'm predicting her to finally win a Grand Slam? No. Do I expect to see her making semi-finals and finals regularly this year? Yes, which is something that I haven't been able to say for 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought she was an overachiever.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't realize what her gifts were like until maybe last year, apart from athleticism. But you can see those aggressive shots more and more this year. So I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that's the difference, Gokap, in that this year feels like she's not overachieving. She's just, a very, very, very, very, very good tennis player.
Yeah.
Almost
And
like I've had with her, not quite to the same extent, but almost a Casper Ruud awakening in that when I saw Ruud in at close quarters in Estoril, I was like, okay, on this surface in the right conditions, he is an unbelievable talent.
yeah. Yeah, I think what's different between them is the mental side. I think she was down on herself a lot, even when she was winning in the past. So I think this new coaching relationship probably put the brakes on that for her. She can't like whine as freely as she could with Tom Hill, you know.
Yeah, I got
someone
the impression.
same age as her, and you know, probably they're like siblings because they've been working together for so long. So it's not as easy to, you know, be hard on yourself with someone.
I got the impression there that with that previous coaching relationship, that the dynamic, the power was, I mean, often the power is with the player, but with that dynamic, I felt it was difficult for him probably to handle certain situations when you're of a similar age, and the power very much with her. I just remember seeing a clip of her once basically complaining to him, and I felt on this particular occasion that he was just trying to give her some advice regarding, I think it was avoid the backhand of a particular player. And she's like, why? I mean, that showed where she was at more than the advice that she was receiving, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, great comeback from love 40 at least to deuce.
Yeah.
From Haddad Maia.
Yeah, regarding Beatriz, the thing is with her, I admire her fight as well, but I do sort of not watch her for a couple of months, and it's like she's going out early a lot, and I don't know why, because often I'm not watching those losses, and then I get into a period which I've felt with Beatriz this year of, okay, I think she's probably going out early here, she's going out early there, but then when I see her, like on occasions such as today, I'm thinking, where's she been the last 2 or 3 months?
I mean, I don't think she's playing like how she's been playing in these 2 games at all times. I think she came to the net in Swiatek's serve when she went up 15-30. Now she's hitting some drop shots, like mixing it up very well. She can play very comfortably from the baseline. Maybe she gets trapped in that sometimes.
Okay.
But when she's alert like this, and it's hard to be that, you know, across multiple sets against top 10 players, but she did it in the past. So my guess is she's not doing that all the time.
Regarding the drop shot, though, I think Iga really let her off the hook there, because Iga easily got her racket on that. But I'm just watching the replay, and Iga's contortion of her body is all wrong. Which for Iga, by the way, she's the complete opposite of Daniel Medvedev. Oh, and she's just chased down another one. That was much more difficult, though, that second drop shot to chase down. But the previous one, she got in the completely the right. I think she almost overran herself. So she's trying to chase that down. And normally you're on the stretch, but she probably overran it. And in a way, that meant she had to construe her body, and as a result, dumped it long and wide. And that actually was enough to help Bea hold serve. And as you say, love 40 down, 1-1. That'll do her confidence some good.
Definitely.
So, yeah, regarding Iga, I've tipped Rebecca to win the title. This title here.
Let me open the draw. Who's on her side?
I'm just trying to remember actually if it's. I think Iga and Iga's they're on opposite sides, so you've got a potential Sabalenka, Rebecca in a semi-final.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so Iga is playing the winner of Madison Keys against Anjabeur.
Yeah. Yeah, Rybakina, Sabalenka on the opposite sides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Swiatek looks like clear favorite here.
Yeah, amongst those 4, yeah.
Yeah, Jabeur won here, I think 2 years ago, but she did not have to beat Iga, as far as I can remember.
Nope.
She beat Sabalenka, I think.
Did Iga play in 2022?
Yeah, she must have. Let's see. Um, no,
Oh,
she withdrew. You're right.
yeah. I just don't remember her playing.
Yeah, just after the draw, because I see 17th seed at the top of the draw.
Mm. Just squeezing in some lunch.
Bon appetit.
Spinach. Are you vegetarian, by the way?
No.
But I am having a veggie lunch, albeit not vegan. A goat's cheese and spinach wrap that I made myself.
Nice.
Haddad Maia has a break point on my screen.
Yes. So we caught up? What happened?
Oh, no. I wish we had. No, we'll never catch up. I'll always be. I'm just looking at the scoreboard.
Okay.
I'm at 30 all on my TV.
Got it.
What are you watching on sort of a cable network in Turkey or?
No, I'm watching it on WTA TV. I made this like for this month because of Madrid and Rome, because in Turkey it's impossible to watch sometimes even the center court.
Oh, okay.
And definitely the other stadium courts, they're not airing them. So I said, okay, for this
With
month.
my situation, I have Eager saved the breakpoint. I see. I have Sky Sports, and I pretty much, with the exception of 3 Grand Slams, which I know is a huge part of the year, but if you're watching tennis all year long, that's basically every tournament bar 3. I've got every tournament and I've got every single Premier League match for €10 a month.
That's amazing. How are they doing it? It's a new thing, right?
Well, you mean how a Sky
It used to be
Sports
Prime, I think.
No, you're thinking of the UK, right? That's what you're thinking of. Yeah, I'm in Germany, so
Okay.
my coverage is very different to theirs. I mean, obviously, I'm probably getting the same cameras and all the rest of it, but maybe you are too.
Do you get all the courts?
I do now, yeah.
Oh, that's
So
amazing.
that is the change. That is the only change that has occurred for me from last year to this year. I'm still paying an exceptionally low amount. I got a deal 3 years ago, or maybe even 4 years ago, at the second wave, if you like, of the pandemic. I was like, I need sport left, right, and center. So there was a deal on at the time for €10 per month. And the reason I got it is United were playing Arsenal that day. And I was like, I want to watch this match. It was the 1st of November, 2020, I think. And so I watched that match, and then I was like, wow, I've got every Premier League match. And I actually didn't know that they had deals they had the ATP tour at the time. But I was at the mercy of the German TV in terms of the fact that I would just be watching whatever the match they chose. Of course, it was normally the headline match, but often would involve a German. Now, though, I guess since this transition from Prime to Sky, at least in the UK, Sky have got. Now I can just switch on my TV, and for example, here in Madrid, I can choose any court. So for €10 a month, if it wasn't for this channel that I've created, Eagles Whole Hell for 2-1, if it wasn't for this channel that I've created, I mean, being a point or two behind is frustrating, but it's okay if you stay off social media and you keep your WhatsApp away from you, if you like. But even then, you're probably still going to be okay. The problem is with these streams is I'm still a point or two behind. But for $9.99 a month, I mean,
a point or two is nothing compared to what the people in the US are dealing with. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, if here we have to subscribe to 4 different providers, I think, because ATP is even divided between 1,000 and 250 and 500. Like, it's crazy. So I have Tennis TV because of that. Yeah, I think Iga hit some good serves to come back from the break point and a rally to win the game.
So we've had breakpoint saves from both players. Of course, Bayer saving 3 in a row in the previous game. Have you been to Madrid, the tournament, before?
Yes, in 2018, when it used to be an amazing, value for money tournament. For
Okay.
20 euros, I remember watching 5 top 20 players in the second court. Sharapova, Team, Schwartzman, 2 Spanish players. It was a good time, attending 1-week Masters tournaments.
Which court?
Arantxa Sanchez, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, 1-week Masters. Hey, those are the days.
And pre-pandemic too. I think pandemic raised a lot of the pricing on entertainment and events.
Travel as well, I think.
Travel, exactly.
Hotels.
And it's a great site to watch practice.
Yeah.
I remember if I saw like more than 20 people, I was going there just because Rafa would appear out of nowhere, and he did. Because those people have informants, I think. At that time, practice courts weren't even announced.
Having been to 15 or so events across the tour, they all have pros and cons.
What do you think about this one?
Yeah, some horrible things about Madrid. Scheduling, they've got away with it so far this year, but I do not understand for me in a million years why on Sunday we had like a 3-hour gap with no tennis on Manolo Santana on a Sunday. On a weekday, I can see why they would lean towards trying to put the matches a bit closer to the evening because of people working and they want to fill the stadium. On a Sunday and a Saturday, and to a lesser extent a Friday, don't forget Friday afternoons are very much when the weekend begins in Spain. Having lived there for 3 years, I'm very familiar with 3 p.m. on a Friday being the beginning of the weekend. But coming back to Sunday's situation, they got away with it because actually they didn't get away with it entirely because I think Zverev and Shapovalov was 2 close sets.
Yeah.
I can't remember the match before it, but it was Sabalenka against Montgomery, I think. Was Sabalenka Montgomery? I think on Sunday.
I think so.
Yeah. Which
That
I
one
think was 2 sets as well. Was it? Or was it 3?
No, that was 3 sets, I think. Yeah. Montgomery won a set.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
I mean the night session madness, to sell more tickets. I mean, it makes, of course, financial sense for them, but
not on a Sunday. Not on a Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, why have that? You could easily have had those 2 players, Chapo and Zverev, playing at 2 or 3 in the morning, completely unnecessarily. And we've had to break the serve, I see.
Yeah, at the time that I went, I also had a center court ticket for a night session of the semifinal. I don't even remember if there were 2 matches. It's tiring. I don't know if it's the same for Spanish people who live later in the day.
They do, but I'm sure even for a Spanish person, 2 a.m. is ridiculous to be watching tennis, and for a Spanish sports person as well.
Yeah. It was cold then too.
Oh, it was cold, was it?
Yeah, it was cold. We were happy that they closed the roof that time.
Okay. I mean, I was there a year ago and it was wonderful, wonderful weather.
Yeah.
But I can see this year it's much cooler. A double fault there that cost Bayer her serve. She can't be giving gifts away like that. But yeah, every tournament I could list. I mean, some of the other organizational things in Madrid last year, in terms of the doubles on-court speech. But let me tell you this. I have tried for 15 months to interview doubles players, and it's not easy. So I see both sides to that coin. There's give and take in this relationship. They're upset. I asked for a press conference last year. Doubles players didn't want to do it. So yes, they should have had an on-court speech afterwards. Absolutely. But
was that after the whole ceremony thing?
Exactly. So the ceremony, but this is at the beginning of the day. These, you can't just demand a press conference, 20 minutes after the match finishes, because a lot of these things need to be organized in advance. Just saw a horrible double fault from Swiatek. But you know, I've seen there's a lot of player complaints that I sympathize with, but often the player complaints are not dissimilar to the journalists basically saying, listen, we would like to speak to players even if they lose. And so, you know, players seem to want the best of both worlds, if you like. And for me, someone who has some democratic values, I think that win or lose, that big events such as a 1,000, I think, yeah, of course, journalists can be idiots, and those idiots should be treated thus. And so I'm fine with that. You know, I'm sure players will go, yeah, but some journalists don't even watch our matches and they ask silly questions. And I can tell you why they don't watch your matches, because sometimes they don't even know they're going to be speaking to you. And there's 17 matches happening at the same time. I mean, I had a situation last year. I would love to know at the beginning of the day, listen, whether Katie Bolter wins or loses. And by the way, Katie Bolter is just a random name that came into my head. But whether Katie Bolter wins or loses, you're going to be speaking to her after the match in a one-to-one. Great. I then go and watch Katie Bolter's match from start to finish. I have a pen and paper in my hand, and I can tell you exactly how the match panned out. And I go and speak to her about the match, and hopefully at length. But that's not how it is, because tennis players are precious as well. So when you have that, and you also have a sport unlike most others where there's a million things going on. It's not like in football where you go and, you know, you go and watch a match and then you speak to the players, or you go to the press conference afterwards. It's a very different dynamic. You know, I remember being in a room with just me and Roberto Bautista Agut, and I didn't know if he'd won. I genuinely didn't know. And it was just me and him for about 2 minutes before the Spanish journalists arrived. And it happened because it was in the corridors at Wimbledon, and anyone just said, does anyone want to speak to Roberto Bautista Agut? And I was like, I guess so. I didn't even have a mic. I didn't record it. I just thought I'll go for the experience and ask him some questions. But very quickly I realized, oh shit, I don't know if he won or lost. Well, there are ways around that. And I just said, well, how was that for you today, Roberto? Yeah, not bad, because of X, Y, and Z. And I was like, next question was, yeah, do you have some vibes? Maybe obviously you got to the final here in 2019. And, you know, of course I hope so. I'm into round 2, blah, blah, blah. Great. By which time the Spanish contingent arrived, and that was that. But yeah, that's the journalistic cheat code, if you like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they would object to that. It's easy questions for them. Nothing.
Yeah, right.
Controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah, Haddad Maia tried some things in this game as well. A nice drop shot, I think, to go up break point, or maybe no, that was even before. That was to come to 30 all.
Yep.
But then Iga raises her level very quickly.
Yeah, but anyway, tennis politics. I imagine other sports are the same. The only thing I would say is that I think in football there's a lot of protection from the managers for the players, etc. But the ruling bodies in football, I think they understand that the media is a huge cog in the whole machine. Whereas in tennis, it feels like we need to give the players absolute 100% protection and F the media, if you like, particularly small media, of course. And of course, I am biased. I'm coming at it from a small media angle. But my thoughts are, if I was in charge of a particular event, I would want every single seat in that media room full. I would want as many seats in the stadium available for the media, because don't forget, 99% of tennis matches are not sold out. So, but trust me, I'm sure there's seats in that stadium right now, but I bet you could fill those seats with some journalists for sure, particularly for an Iga match. And Bayo, I mean, Brazilian, there's a lot of interest in tennis in Brazil. And then beyond that, I would also want every single media room full, you know, every single press conference full. How many times have we been in a press conference room and it's just you and the player, or 2 journalists and the player? It doesn't have to be like that. It really doesn't. And getting the word out there. Every single tweet, every single Instagram post, and of course every single article written is extremely good for both the sport and the players involved. And again, that message to the players: listen, you guys are earning the X amount, and there's a reason for that. But the only way we can keep that money for you guys is if we let the people hear what you've got to say and some access to you, etc. So yeah,
it depends a bit on the player profile as well, I guess. If they're like a top player, all of those curtains will close, like you're saying, like they don't want to do it. But if it's maybe someone in the 50s, 60s in the ranking, I'm gonna guess they're gonna appreciate the exposure.
They do. Yeah, they do. You're more likely to get that interview for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they loved your interviews at the Billie Jean King Cup. I mean, how many times does Susan Leymans and Zeynep Sönmez get interviewed?
Right. Yeah, I enjoyed interviewing them, and I will say this: there was a bit more. The people in between. Here's a huge thing at that event: the people between me and the players, let's say, were also media people and understood that, obviously they had some nice players playing there that week, including Maria Sakkari and Jelena Ostapenko. But they also understand, listen, we need as much exposure as we can get. So whether that's 50 people watching a YouTube video or, as it turned out, a few hundred, and in my case, it's all the better. It's all the better. And because those events can often feel like empty, very much vessels, but they understood that, yeah, we want, I would ask for an interview and I said, we'll do what we can. We want you to interview this player. Okay. That's the complete opposite message that you get from both the ATP and the WTA. When you say to them in the morning of a particular event, you say, hi, I'd like to interview this player.
Yeah.
Often those emails don't get answered.
They're very content with where they're at. This geo-block thing is going around again, like at every Grand Slam. Yesterday, the Medvedev Illuminati comment was doing the rounds, but it was geo-blocked, so people couldn't see it.
It was geo-blocked. Yeah. Just nuts. Just absolutely.
It makes no sense. I got one Twitter account banned. I'm not going to get another one by the ATP.
Yeah.
Just because I posted a short video that was not a play, like that was outside the play. I don't get it.
And I mean from fans up and from fans through to the media, because we're also fans too, or at least we should be. I think there are some people in the media that are just not even tennis fans, but that's for another day. We, all of us, whether you've got one follower or 100,000, it should all be like, great, I want these people to be putting #tennis and blah, blah, blah. Yes, I understand copyright rules and laws and stuff. And none of us are showing live footage. For example, right now, we've got this match. We understand that Sky or Tennis TV or WTA Tennis, etc., have the rights. We're not showing it. But beyond that, a clip a few minutes after it's happened of Medvedev saying the Illuminati, which is very funny, of course, and did the rounds, and then rightly so. Or, you and I doing this watch along right now. Every single one should be valued. And I don't care if you have one follower or 1 million followers on social media. It should all be valued. If I had a product, whatever that product was, and I saw people tweeting about it, I would just what are you doing? You're just killing your own product. It's so nonsensical. Yeah. Basketball, from what I understand, has a very different attitude. They're just like, do what you want. We want it out there. Get it out there.
Yeah. I think they give a certain inventory of things like photos, videos out. There are also other things like gaming or some other American sports probably that they allow a lot of things and are very successful on social media.
Mm-hmm. Nick Carter here tweeting about Rybakina, which I think is very interesting. She's not lost on a clay court since Madrid last year. And of course, there's been a few events skipped there and stuff, but nevertheless, and obviously she pulled out of the French Open ill. But yeah, that's a lot of wins for Elena Rybakina. on a surface that we don't necessarily associate her with.
Yeah.
Yes, I've had a warning on Twitter from a clip where I was an accredited journalist that I shared on not live, of course, but yeah, it's just crazy. Ghosty here is asking, "Who are you?" By the way, Gokal, which I'm now going to share your Twitter account.
Me?
Yeah, he's like, "Who are you?" But he's saying it in a very. I'm putting it in a very rude
Here I
way.
am. That's me.
Yeah, exactly.
Land of the call to prayers. Now I'm just waiting for the call to prayer if it's going to come at any minute. Because I thought this microphone canceled all of the outside noise, and then Damien's just chuckling.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, I heard a call to prayer once during a stream with Shrihari. He lives in Dubai, I think. But no, your microphone is pretty good. I will say that. It sounds nice. I remember listening to you, I think, during the Monte Carlo final. And yeah, it was nice and
Cool.
crisp.
Now I open the comments and I can see it. Thank you. I will thank my parents. I will let them know that you like my name.
Oh, okay. That's a great name. Yeah. So Ghost is sort of saying I'm a bit behind on the tennis news. It's just that there was a clip on Twitter yesterday that got taken down. A clip from the Medvedev Illuminati comment, and it's just one of millions of incidents. I've been an accredited journalist, and I've been at a press conference, and I've had accredited journalists at other press conferences, and we have asked, can we record this press conference? Yes. And in about a 12-hour period, about 2 months ago, I had some very threatening things occur where there was like 5 or 6 videos taken down from YouTube with some like, and you're thinking, whoa, what's that? And you go through the process on YouTube and look at why it's been taken down. And then there's like a last thing which says you can appeal this being taken down, but there could be serious consequences for you and your channel if you appeal unnecessarily, if you like. And you're thinking, this is not worth it. So you don't appeal and you let it go. But you're thinking, why have you taken this down, but you didn't take another one down? Why are you doing this when we've had the journalist on site at 2 different sites in 2 different parts of the world asking, can we do this? It's also, you get told it's the ATP that are asking for this to be taken down. And you can't understand why they're randomly choosing certain press conferences. Well, but beyond that, I then saw some tweets around the same sort of time from a player who was like complaining, saying, I don't understand why you're taking down me playing tennis. And then the ATP quickly reversed all of those decisions, including my content as well. It came back. So they just don't know what they're doing. But I tell you who does know what she's doing. Beatriz Haddad Maia.
That was a great segue.
There you go. I'm not bad at the segues. I'm getting better.
Yeah, I mean, she's staying close to the line, even on first serve returns. She's really hitting those balls early, and Iga's missing. I mean, we have to say, it's not like...
Yeah, that was a miss again from her, really, wasn't it, at the end there?
Yeah, Jake, I just saw your comment when you wrote greatest tennis player in the world that I must be familiar with, and I connected the dots. You're the Jake who's a fan of Chala. Nice.
Yeah. Jake is well known in the tennis world, if you like.
Yes, she's at least the greatest tennis player of our country. WTA 250 trophy.
Yeah.
That is the one and only one that came to Turkey.
So far,
yes.
Everybody I was interviewing in, or not everybody, but a lot of the players I was interviewing in Hueras. Of course, I saw you there, didn't I, on the first day, because you stayed in Portugal for another sort of couple of days, didn't you? But everyone I was interviewing there fell into that sort of zone of 100 to 200 in the world, often actually even sort of close to a career high, around about 150, 130. I know Zainab isn't quite at her career high, but she wasn't far off it. And so there were 3 players I remember in quick succession, Jorge as well from Portugal, and Susie Leymans as well, all of which, just a few weeks away from a top 100 spot if you win a bunch of matches in those few
Yeah.
weeks, of course.
And Susan won the challenger the following week.
She did, yeah. We have a thing
So
called the GOCAP. This is a GOCAP. No, that'll be GOCAP Player of the Month. We've got a Jakob Bobro Player of the Week award, and Susie won it 1 week and was very close to being the first ever person to not just win it twice, but do it back to back. But I think we went for a men's player the following, Comesaño, I think, the Argentinian. But yeah, on fire.
yeah, she was on fire against Zeynep. I watched the first set. It was a bagel, and I left.
Okay.
And I watched it with the other Turkish player. She was our number 2, İpek.
Okay.
And she was like, Susan is playing out of her mind right now. She's definitely going for the top 100. And it's going to come very soon. And yeah, she won, I think, her next 8 matches, including Ostapenko.
She beat Ostapenko twice in one day because she played it at doubles as well.
Yeah, they won all of their doubles matches.
And I said to her, can you just say something to the camera for me? And I looked at her and I was a bit worried. I said, don't be nervous. She said, I'm not nervous. It was so funny the way she just said it.
I know her. I know her personally. I knew she was going to say, I'm not nervous, because she's really not nervous.
No, she's not. No. Yeah. She's pretty sure of herself. A double fault here has led to love 40, although that is on the love 30 point from Beatriz Haddad Maia. So she's at risk of squandering that parity that she earned from the previous game. By the way, very impressed with the use of the word segue, Gokaup. I don't know if you've lived for a lengthy period of time in an English-speaking country, but that's sort of...
I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Okay.
But yeah, I did go to an American school for a few years.
Okay. Jake saying he loves her. Great human being.
She is. She's a gem.
Yes, indeed, Ghosty. That Medi comment was so funny. And there is between the lines with that Medi thing, right? And I'm not going down the Illuminati. Don't worry, I'm not going to go off an insane tangent here, Cook Up. But there is something in that everybody in tennis wants to pass the buck. Everybody. Nobody wants to take responsibility, which is also underpinned in a lot of the things that we've been talking about already. You know, hi, can I interview X player later, particularly say a top 20 player? You know, emails will get ignored because, again, it's an issue of taking responsibility, because maybe you need to tell the journalist to F off. Maybe. Fine. You know, whatever. I don't care. You know, you've got to be kidding me. You've got a YouTube channel with X amount of followers. Fine. I'm okay with that. But you also, you know, I don't think you're helping grow the sport, but fine. But also, you just know that sometimes they're just ignoring it because they're too afraid. They're too afraid of approaching the player, because the players are so protected and so much in cotton wool, etc., that they're afraid, and they just rather not deal with the situation. And I know I'm going off a tangent there, but again, the umpire could easily address that. He could just say, it's David Brown, he's the supervisor, or it's X body or X group of people. But there is an underlying thing in that conversation yesterday between Medvedev and the umpire, and it's, I don't know, it's not me. Just please look somewhere else, you know? Yeah.
My number one target of people who don't take responsibility these last months are the supervisors. I mean, I cannot. I cannot even watch them anymore come to the court and say, this is what the umpire told me, and this is what will stay. And I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to walk in here. I don't understand it.
In Stuttgart, I had so many people that didn't want to take responsibility for a pretty simple but quite important question, which was, hi, how do we get access to, you know, what's happening the next day? Oh, there's a WhatsApp group. Oh, okay. Who's in charge? Oh, this person's in charge. This person's in charge. Oh, we're going to get a daily email. Okay, I'm not getting the daily email. How do I get the daily email? Oh, you need to speak to this person. Well, this person told me to speak to you. Oh, well, actually, go speak to this. And in the end, you just sort of give up after 48 hours. And yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, great forehands from Haddad Maia, and then a nice serve +1.
That's the second time she's got to have a love 40 hole, albeit she's not entirely out of it yet.
I think this time it was 1540, maybe.
Oh, sorry, 1540.
Still,
A hole.
go-getter of the general time period. Why not?
Oh,
I
I
went to
see, yeah.
school in Italy, so that was in LA.
You went to school where? In LA or in Italy?
In Italy,
Okay.
in Naples,
Oh, wow.
as far away from LA as possible.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Naples. I was in a pizzeria the other day, and to be fair, this is nothing crazy. About a third of pizzerias basically you walk into around the world will be full of the Napoli pizza, because obviously it depends on the base. But secondly, in said pizzeria, you will just see shrines to the football club and often Maradona nearby.
Yes.
And this pizzeria, despite the fact I'm in Western Germany, was no different. Yeah.
Yeah, they love their Maradona over there. Yeah, unluckily for me, when I lived there, they were in Serie B, so
Oh,
it didn't make
really?
any sense. Yeah, they promoted the year we left. Perfect. Yeah, it's a long game. If it's 4-all, then I think we have what we asked for. Not yet, though. Yeah, Haddad Maia is trying to take everything on her forehand, running around the backhand now. Fold the piece and have it. Yeah, so we don't call it giro, so I would have never said that. John, I can't hear you. Is it me? It's not me. Okay. But I think I was folding it in half.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, you're back.
Great. Thank you. I am just going to, yeah, good. Yeah, I just ran out of battery on one of my mics. I did notice it a few minutes ago, but of course, forgot to switch. Yes, what I said was I think giro is a terminology more commonly used in Greece, right?
Yes. We call it döner. I think they both mean rotating, so it's the same
okay.
thing.
So the donna and giro both mean rotating. Okay. Just seen a lovely cross-court winner from Beatriz, Haddad Maia. Trying to think of a segue using rotation, and of course I could thought about
Great hip rotation on that backhand.
Yeah,
no, that's too far.
Yeah, I thought of that was the first one that came to my mind, and then there was the top spin. But it was with every second that passed, it then got into the zone of you. Listen, you're too late for the segue on this one, and in the end, I just decided to talk about the segue.
That's a great way of dealing with it. Yeah, it's 4-all. It's, she's pointing to the courts. I'm here. It's great to see.
Beatriz Haddad Maia doing a sort of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah. I mean, I think we see it a lot on both ATP and WTA these days. Like, I'm here. I'm not leaving.
But at 4-all in the first set. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she has to do that against Swiatek.
I said to myself, it was to myself, I didn't even, it was just in my head. I was just struggling physically a bit, and it was in a match that I know it was in a match that I normally win fairly easily. Let's just say the mean average of our results is 6-3, 6-3. But now I'm 1 set all and maybe 5 all, and I think I'd had chances to seal that third set. And we're playing 5 sets. Point is this: I'm now in an
Wow.
incredible dogfight that I'm not normally familiar with this particular opponent in a best of 5, which we play 2 or 3 times a year. But I did say to myself, what were the sort of words? I was like, you just gotta get through this, or get this next 2 or 3 games in particular, because 2 sets to 1 and suddenly you're refreshed again, and that was enough to basically get me over the line in terms of the 4th set. But yeah, I was like, you gotta do something here, gotta hang in there, because I was down a bit on energy.
Yeah. Haddad Maia is doing a lot of those in this game.
The umpire, by the way, in the Medvedev Bublik match, I recognize very much, because it was from Small Cat fame from the Australian Open.
Yeah. Unfortunately, also I remember him like that.
Yeah.
I think he posted it on his Instagram that day, like the cat is fine, something like that.
Oh, great. I like that.
He was doing a harbor tour.
What's happening with Taylor Fritz? I have no idea. I saw that they were on serve in the first set, but that was like an hour and 15 minutes ago.
Yeah,
So
that Maya is pumped up right now, by the way.
Okay. Fritz is on the verge of beating her catch. So that's good news if you're a fan of Taylor's.
Okay.
Oh, interesting times. Interesting times.
She's like nodding to herself between serves. She's so intense right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Break point, but kind of goes for broke.
I don't know how vociferous the Brazilians are in the crowd today, but for the Fonseca Cam Norrie match, and probably other Brazilian, they were going crazy.
Yeah. I think Brazilian players probably would like to play like outside courts at all times, because
Yeah, because it gets worse. You're right. On
boxes.
Manuel Santana.
Yeah, corporate boxes here,
Uh-huh.
you're too far away from the flags.
Yep. And Taylor Fritz gets over the line, 7-6, 6-4 against Hubie Hurkacz. How about that? Taylor Fritz is into a 1,000 clay quarterfinal. Oh, I've just seen the volley that Haddad Maia put into the net.
Okay.
Listen, I don't want to sound clever after the event, but with Taylor Fritz, I thought I saw a little upturn in his performance in Australia this year. I thought, this is not, saying this is Grand Slam winning level, but I thought he's a better player than he was. So he had 2 matches against Novak Djokovic, and I know Djokovic has had his issues this year, and especially in the semi-final against Sinner, for example. But that was a completely different match, such a close match. Taylor was doing a lot more interesting things in that match than he was in the match the year before. Are we claiming a double fault here from Beatriz Haddad Maia at 30-40? Is it too late to challenge? Let's have a quick. I think she's going to get the challenge in okay.
Towards the chair here, thinking that she's a break in front now.
But Haddad Maia is convinced that this is a double fault, and it is a double fault.
Yeah, so what I thought was, what Haddad Maia would do, Swiatek did. 4-all, break point, double faults. And the first break point was kind of a gift from Haddad Maia, just coming to the net at a bad approach shot. But she's going for her returns. Probably that got in the head of Iga.
Yeah.
Regarding Fritz, I agree with you. I think against Djokovic, I think it was the first time that he didn't lose because of a mental or tactical issue.
Yeah.
It was amazing, amazing performance on both sides. I think, if I remember correctly, it was physicality that, like after the third set, he was just done. He couldn't run
Yeah,
anymore.
maybe.
But
But
that
he
never
hung
happened
with
to
it.
him against Djokovic before. Like he would always, wouldn't want to use the word choke, but like he would kind of, not
Believe.
like the first serve would disappear at crucial times, and that crazy match when Djokovic had an ab tear, he came back from 2 sets down, and then fifth set he disappeared mentally.
Yeah.
Fritz.
So, I mean, there's 3 matches off the top of my head that I can think of. Disappears mentally in that fifth set in Australia when really Djokovic was on the ropes. A lot of people, though, can do that, so he's not the only player. But another one that springs to mind is, again, Djokovic is on the ropes, but in a very different manner at the ATP Finals in 2022.
Yeah,
And
2
he's got
tiebreaks,
that.
right?
But he's also got a forehand, I think, when he's serving for the first set. I think it's a forehand. It could have been a backhand from memory. There might have been a backhand. He dumps into the net when somebody shouts out in the crowd, and that, obviously put him off. And I think he lost his serve. I'm not sure if it was a set point or he was serving for it, but it was a crucial point, and he wins that point, and the match is entirely different and maybe even goes the way of Taylor. The other one as well is the US Open, either fourth round or quarterfinal last year, and it was just uncomfortable.
Horrible match that was.
He was doing everything that he shouldn't do. He was trying to play the match on Djokovic's terms, which, by the way, come Australia, he did at times, but he did very well because he was confident enough to do so. But then he just got frustrated and he was just dumping stuff into the net, and it was just an ugly performance. And yet the performance against Djokovic for 3 of those 4 sets in Australia was polished. And I think on another day he could have won that. And I don't have an issue with what happened. He basically did hang with Djokovic, something that I just didn't think he would ever be capable of doing, but he still mixed it up. He sort of had a nice balance between the two for 3 of those 4 sets. And anyway, Haddad Maia here serving for the first set.
Misses from Iga. I mean,
Oh, yeah, that forehand. Very strange. Whatever happens from here, Iga's going to have to dig deep.
Yeah, the complete opposite of what I was expecting is happening.
Yeah. You mean it's sort of an early break for Haddad Maia, but eventually Iga swallows her up.
Yeah, like Haddad Maia breaks down at the end of a close set.
Yeah, well,
because she's not serving huge right now, and Iga's not, attacking these serves well enough.
Cool. Do you like this microphone, by the way? Look at the...
Very nice.
They are new. They were not in Estoril, but they will be at the next event. I'm going to a challenger in Portugal in just under 2 weeks, so they'll be there in Hueras. And also I'm going to the WTA 500 in Strasbourg just before the French Open.
Oh, nice. I was going to ask you what your next tournaments were.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, now you know. Yeah. 3 set points here for Haddad Maia. We'll share the screen with the scoreboard on it at the end of this set. Terry suggesting that Bear is choking, so I guess she loses the next point or 2. Let's see how this pans out. 40 love. 3 set points. And we're going to see a big return here from Iga. Ready to pounce. A double fault, so not necessary. 40-15.
Yeah, when it's 40 love, you're thinking it's fine, and then it's not fine. It was the start of the comeback. Not for this game, but for a lot of other games.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. I mean, there was an aborted ball toss that you will see. I think that arm is stiff. Like, she's nervous.
Okay. Decent return from Iga at foot 40-15. Making her play another ball. Ooh, yeah, that was also that backhand on 40-15. It's just the first one was just you didn't need to loop that first one up. You could have just played that one normally. And in the end, it put her on the back foot for the point. So 40-30, and I'm about to see the ball toss, I guess, on the next point. Iga kicks the dirt as though she lost the previous point, but actually she won it.
Probably she's like, why have I not been doing this? Because those were heavy forehands. I think Haddad Maia couldn't get the timing right because the spin just changed in that point.
Okay. I still felt as though she could have done more with one of those, and she ended up going for the defensive loopy sort of shot. Or sorry, the defensive sort of lofted ball rather than. Oh yeah, that toss that barely went above her head. Yeah. But fortunately, she didn't go and try and hit the ball. Let's see how the second one pans out. It lands in. Oh, and Iga goes long. Lets her out of jail almost, and Beatriz Haddad Maia has won the first set.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, Iga is now off to the bathroom break. Probably she's going to come back a different player. Because, I mean, there were some unforced errors at crucial points. Like the way she went down 40-love in this game, I think 3 bad shots back-to-back from her. But I think if it was another player, not Haddad Maia, with this intensity, they wouldn't even come back to 4-all. So there's that too.
All right, we'll just take a quick 60-second break, and then Gokap and I will be back for the second set. Thanks for tuning into this watch along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks, including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered, whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon, or Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis. While Gokap enjoys a well-earned break at the end of that set, so does Iga Swiatek take a break, although whether it's well-earned or not, I'll let you guys decide in the live chat. But make sure you do hit the like button and, of course, subscribe to the channel if you are new. When you ask me what am I doing by moving around quite a bit, well, I'm actually making myself a coffee and also trying to get some washing done, which in between all of these commentaries. So I'm actually heading off to the kitchen now. So you'll hear by the power of technology, you'll hear me talking on the end of the mic. But I'm actually disappearing into the kitchen to get this coffee done. I'm actually going for instant coffee today, people. Do not tell our Italian friend Mario that I'm drinking instant coffee, but it's just a lot easier to do whilst also doing a watch along at the same time. Of course, coffee has been a bit of a theme in Madrid with Mutet desperately trying to get a coffee. Well, quarantine, you're welcome to come over. And I tell you what, Mutet, if you come over, I'm not going to serve you instant coffee. You're going to get the real deal. But to save a bit of time, I'm going instant right now. hope you like these like little audible things to just give you a little flavor of my kitchen. And I'll be back on your screen in a few seconds. I could do with stirring this. I have my coffee. Well, I tell you what, I have my coffee in various different ways. I'm going for it just black on this occasion, but just depends on my mood and where I am. Mornings, I may well go for milk, either a latte or a flat white. But as the day wears on, I try to avoid that. So we're just going for it hard and black. Well, I guess Damien will tune in. He said he will tune in if it gets interesting. Indeed, Millhouse. I'll bring you forward as well, Gokap. I don't know if you heard me giving some chats about coffee and various other random stuff.
No. What did I miss?
Well, because the player's been off court, you've missed nothing in terms of the action. Although, what's Eager complaining
No, with the
about?
coffee.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry, Gokap. I've got it. But I just want to say something at the forefront of my mind. Oh, she's got her notebook. She's probably anyway. No, well, the coffee thing was basically I went to my kitchen, and
Okay.
you'd have liked this segue as well. And again, it was just not planned, but just came into my head. I went to the kitchen. And I said, well, by the power of modern technology, I can walk into the kitchen with my microphone and keep talking to it, even if I'm off camera, just like this, and so on and so forth. And I apologize to all coffee lovers out there, such as perhaps Mario Bacardi of course, Italian origin, but also coffee lovers in Turkey, a very famous coffee nation, in my opinion, although also probably famous for tea as well. But a Turkish coffee is delightful, especially first thing in the morning. And then, of course, I said, of course, coffee has been very much a theme here in Madrid with Quarantine Mutet and all the coffee gate issue that he had during his match. So I'm disappointed you missed that live.
Thank you for the reenactment. I think this was better even than the first one.
Well, honestly, it was pretty good first time. It was pretty good. Oh, by the way, talking of first time, Ghosty was very impressed with Zainab because of the 3 players I asked to do the friend of the show thing. She was the one who got it right first time. Hi, my name is Zainab and I'm friend of the show. She only needed one take. And Ghosty commented on that saying, she got it right.
Yeah, it was the first time I heard her speak English, so I'm also very impressed.
Oh, her English, you can tell. There's almost a little bit of a British twang in the...
You think so?
I don't mean that she's ever lived in the UK, but I just wonder, some people, they quite like the British accent, if you like. And therefore, it's an important thing for them to portray. Sometimes I find, actually, with these people, it can get in the way of, you're Dutch. Just speak to me with your Dutch accent. It's completely fine. I understand you, Or you're Italian. Fine, no problem. We've all got our own different accents. But sometimes I find people try too hard to impersonate a particular accent, particularly the British one. And it can get in the way. But with her, but she's also a fan of The Crown. So... Yes, am I building a narrative there? Yes, for sure. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm doing a few domestic duties as well. I'm just splitting my washing.
And it's her birthday today, so just a shout out to Turkey's #1 Zeynep Sönmez.
Oh, you're kidding me?
No.
Oh my, she'll be very annoyed at me because I haven't wished her happy birthday yet. Maybe I'll leave it. Maybe I'll just pretend I forgot. Well, I didn't know. What's worse, not knowing or forgetting? I think forgetting is probably worse, right?
I don't mind, so I also forget.
Yeah, I don't give a flying. Yeah, do you forget? You don't forget your own birthday, I hope.
Not mine, no.
There is a film, I think, with Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell, the actor, who's also a tennis lover. Where there's a clip where his soon-to-be ex-wife, they've sort of having a quick meet-up to see if the marriage is officially over, and she says something like, "Oh, what did you do for your birthday?" And he sort of looks at her and she goes, "You didn't forget your birthday again, did you?" And he's like, "Yeah, I always do that
Again."
Yeah, again. That's exactly. I love that little. There's sort of a double-layered joke there, and the again bit is just brilliant. Yeah. Anyway, Zainab, and of course, I'm sure Zainab is tuning in right now, as of course you would be doing on your birthday. I'm sure you'll be thinking,
Yeah,
what am I going to do today?
she has a day off in San Malo, so she won her match yesterday. She'll face number 1 seed tomorrow. What can she do on her off day? Watch the
Right.
stream. That's the best thing to do.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So happy birthday, Zainab.
Yeah.
Cool. So Iga's held.
Iga held, but she's kind of agitated.
Yeah.
It's not a straightforward love hold as far as I can remember. And now I'm thinking about, like, the first set stats were ugly, kind of, for both of them. Higher unforced errors than winners.
Yeah.
Just 2 points difference. Haddad Maia with a much better breakpoint conversion percentage. I think Iga has to go maybe more body serve, because both, like, forehand, backhand, Haddad Maia is taking a lot of early returns and pushing her back. And she's got to probably attack as much as she can, like even miss with some returns, because this is 15 all. She hit another, like, short middle return. I don't know how much she wants to get into those long rallies where she doesn't have immediate authority.
Mm-hmm. I've just seen the first point where she did have immediate authority and she won the point.
Yeah.
A Ghosty here is suggesting Iga 2023 is not Iga 2024. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'd go that far. Her results in the 2 years seem to be quite similar. A few good tournaments, 1 or 2 not good ones, but winning Indian Wells, not doing well in Australia. Missing. Did she play? She played Miami but lost, didn't she? It doesn't seem to be much different. No, I don't think so. I know there's been a lot of talk about her serve. And by the way, she's not lost yet. She may well win this tournament. I mean, she's only a set down. Yeah. Probably right now, if I turned on the bookmakers' odds, rather than being favourite, she'd probably just be joint favourite right now. So we're still looking at a pretty favourable scenario. Maybe she'd be second favourite, actually, if I went to the bookmakers. But I don't. I think it's far, far too early to say that 2023 Iga is worse than 2024, because it's she'd have to go out in the French Open either early or be consummately easily beaten in the final before I'd even start considering that. And even then, yeah. And in terms of the opposition, yes, maybe they have got marginally better, particularly Rybakina, and particularly on this surface. But you know, right now, probably Iga wins a 1,000 and wins the French Open. I'm still saying that at a set down here to Beatriz Haddad Maia, because she even has 2 break points. So she'll probably win one of Rome or Madrid, and she'll probably win the French Open. The only thing is there's been some serve changes. That's the thing. But we need to see probably that over the course of a year before we can draw some big conclusions. Whenever she loses a match, even her fans get annoyed with her about the serve. Oh, what are you doing? You were doing fine with the previous iteration. I think she is ghosty. I think the baker is still doing fine. I mean, it was a day ago before she loved and won her opponent, and she may well open her bakery at some point even today, as she leads 2 love here, 15 love against Beatriz Haddad Maia. So I do think the hot takes from the live chat are particularly hot right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Rybakina improved on clay, although she did have good results before. But she's a bad matchup for Iga, and I think Rybakina is very confident in her game when she plays Iga. I think she's probably the most confident in the tour against her. Maybe Sabalenka up there as well.
Yeah.
Ostapenko, like the 3 of them.
Yeah. The confidence, I think, is a huge thing. I think even more than Sabalenka, sorry. I think that Rybakina goes into that and is not intimidated at all. And I think Iga maybe even knows that a little bit. So
yeah, when I don't know if you were the one asking Rybakina that question of who would you rather play? You know, Iga or whoever Iga's opponent was.
No, it wasn't me. No.
Iga or Raducanu. And then Rybakina said, I don't mind. I can play either of them.
Oh, maybe that was.
And I felt like this is not diplomatic. This feels like honest. I don't think she minds.
Yeah. I
That's how
tend
much-
not to put that question, but maybe I framed it differently. Because I remember her saying that in Stuttgart, but I can't remember who posed the question. But listen, the rewards are extremely good, perhaps with that question. You know, as to who you're playing in the next round and who would you rather play, or if it's this player, how would you feel about that? First of all, if how would you feel about it if it's this player? You will get a response, but it's for me, it's a very thoughtless and perhaps even lazy question. Like, how would you be? And even perhaps disrespectful, because I remember one question got asked like that during Stuttgart, and I think it was like, it's likely to be, I think Kostyuk, because I think Kostyuk was up a set maybe on our opponent, or whoever was playing was up a set. I'm not a fan of it. If you can maybe word it in a particular way, if there's a particular thing going on, maybe with one of those two players, but generally not a fan. Of course, the rewards can be great when the player says, I don't want to play Iga in the semi-final. I'm praying that she loses this match. But you're going to get that almost never.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not generally a fan of it. But
by the way, I checked her serve stats from last year and this year so far. So she's 1.1 percentage point down on both first serve and second serve. So 1 point is okay, I think. Like, it can make a lot of difference.
1 percentage point in terms of
first serve
winning.
1, second serve 1. First serve 1 was 70, now 69 so far.
Got it.
And the clay seat, like Rome and Roland Garros, they're coming up, so it's going to go up.
Yeah.
And second from 54 to 53. So, I mean, in the top 3, top 5, even 1% is important, but I don't think with the sample size.
It'd be interesting to see where that stat is at the end of the year. Once we've seen, you're comparing with the whole of 2023, and we're looking at 4 months of 2024. And also, as you say, with the clay court tournaments happening now, and okay, we can say we had Australia and we've got Wimbledon to come, but it's better to sort of look at it over the whole year. But also, even at this juncture, there's no discernible difference, which you might say, well, why did she change? Well, like I say, we'll review it at the end of the year.
Yeah, changes can take time before they settle in and show positive results.
For sure.
And in this stat, you also have only 3 clay matches that were Stuttgart. So not a good enough comparison, but at least a data point.
I'm also intrigued about...
You're right, Ghosty, technically.
Why? What's he said? I haven't seen it.
He said, I'm technically right because she went down on the percentage.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, 1%. Yeah. Regarding Iga and her bakery, as Ghosty suggesting, it feels like it hasn't been in use as much. Well, of course, it was against. Let me just have a look at her matches here. It was open twice against Sorribes Tormo. It was open once against Wong, and it was open twice against Chastea. And you might say, but that's the opponents. But that's exactly what she does. She's not doing it often to Rybakina and Sabalenka, although even Sabalenka gets it sometimes. But it is in those early rounds, which still stands out for us. Because let's take a Djokovic on the men's side. He may breeze to the Australian Open without dropping a set, but he's still sort of 7-6, 6-4, 6-4 against Dimitrov or someone like that. In the 3rd or 4th round. Whereas the whole point with Iga is that she's doing the bakery throughout the first 2 or 3 rounds. Did it to Camilla Giorgi 6-1, 6-1 in Miami. Kostyuk got one. Sakari got one in Indian Wells. Wozniacki was it was a retirement, but Putintseva got one. Noskova got one. Daniel Collins got one. Daniel Collins got one. There you go. 6-love in Indian Wells. Svitolina got one.
I mean, she plays such different tennis when she's in the lead. Like right now, 15 all and 50-30 points. A completely different game that she played compared to the first set. I mean, she's a break up 3-0 in the scoreboard. I think, like, mentally, she's much freer.
Yep. She may well be opening her bakery again very, very soon. Yeah, she's favourite to win this match right now. Even at 1 set down, I would still have said I've made her the marginal favourite.
Yeah.
Because she had so many gears to go up from that first set. And when the eager train is in full flow.
Yeah, second sets. I mean, Iga likes first sets too. Not today.
Yeah. Did you watch any of Sabalenka last night, by the way, against Collins?
I did. And I first saw Challengers. I came home.
Oh, you watched the movie Challengers?
Like, watching Sabalenka Collins after that movie was like the movie was going on. It was a cinematic experience for me. I had adrenaline in my body. I couldn't sleep for an hour.
Okay.
I loved it. Both the match and the film. Okay, the match maybe even more.
Haddad Maia saving a break point, by the way. Yeah, I haven't seen the movie. I'll probably get around to it at some point. But regarding Collins and Sabalenka, it delivered.
I mean, I like the movie. If you ignore the tennis scenes, if you can ignore them, because the technique can bother you a bit.
Okay.
But I like the director's earlier movies, so maybe that's also why.
What other movies have they done?
The Call Me by Your Name is the most famous one. The other one, I don't remember the name.
I'm not a movie buff. Haddad Maia has a game point, so things looking a little bit better for the Brazilian. But yeah, regarding the match last night, very, very good. The reason, you might go, well, of course it was good. Daniel Collins against Sabalenka, but it delivered, and it doesn't always.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know what to expect with maybe Sabalenka more. Collins last year.
This year, yes. Although I will say this, during commentary, I came on for a little 5 minutes at the end of each set, and I did say that after the first set with Daniel Collins, I just thought that maybe if it went a bit longer, I felt more confidence in Sabalenka just being able to stay at that absolute high level. I know that Daniel Collins has been unbelievable form, and I haven't seen every match of hers, to be fair, particularly in Charleston during this spell. But she hadn't played someone like Sabalenka during this spell. So I was like, I just thought the longer the match goes on, I just think that Sabalenka can stay at this level for longer. I said that at the end of the first set, and I think that was the case in the third when I think was Sabalenka up a double break, but Collins got one back.
I don't remember.
That's how I saw it, and I just think that it's such fine margins. There was another element to it, which is Sabalenka is not known for her variety. It's true, but I still think that she has a little bit more in that. I saw a sumptuous lob from Arena on one particular point, and if the point did go a bit strange like that, the 3 or 4 occasions it did go strange, I think Sabalenka won every point. That told me something, and in a match of such fine margins, I think that made a difference.
Yeah, third set, Sabalenka probably best tennis of the season for me, better than Australian Open.
Agreed.
I was shocked that she could keep that level up there. Also with the shouting, Did she play college tennis as well? I mean,
I know. She got a bit annoyed, I think, from some of the challenges.
Yeah.
She never said anything, but she gave a few looks towards Danielle. Because I was always interested in that dynamic too. That are they going to end up having a bit of a fight? In the end, they were just sort of fighting either with themselves or the crowd. Danielle Collins, in particular, anyway, had her little moment with the crowd, which I
Yeah.
think is almost a non-event. I don't really
Yeah.
have anything. I said that in the show we did last night at the end of the day's play with Damien. You know, people will make a lot of it. I think there's nothing. I think Danielle may be using that to try and fuel her a little bit in a Novak Djokovic-esque manner. In the end, it wasn't enough for her, and yeah, the better player won.
Yeah.
Just. But yeah, great. Iga Swiatek, by the way. The Iga Swiatek is done. Narrative. I think we need to just put it on ice for a little while.
Yeah. I mean, Haddad Maia did a lot of good things in that game to extend it, but 2 unforced errors, 1 very unforced.
That last point as well. It was close, but very much an unforced error from Bear, and she was in charge of the point as well.
Yeah, that deuce point was backhand long by a mile.
Oh, and that one too, yeah. So, for love, Iga Swiatek.
You know which WTA match was my favorite from yesterday? Not even Sabalenka Collins.
Okay, your favorite match yesterday, was it Shelton against
WTA.
Oh, so favorite WTA match yesterday? Golf Keys?
No.
Okay. Wait. I'll go for a 3-setter. Not Haddad Maia Sakari. Not Putin Saver?
Yes.
Okay.
Putintseva Kasatkina.
Okay, didn't see it. So yeah, maybe that's why it wasn't at the top of my radar.
If you can, like, of course WTA is not going to upload it, but the 6th game of the final set, it's legendary for me. Like, so many winners.
Okay. Oh,
exactly.
okay.
Putintseva Kasatkina.
From Putin Saver though, right? Or
Both of them.
okay.
I haven't been watching Kasatkina for a while, I realized, but she's coming up with winners, both of them, like drop shots, unexpected backhands down the line, and intensity. I mean, they're friends, so not like super intense, but intensity at its highest. Yes, winners. I was also shocked.
Yeah.
But not even highlights on YouTube.
No.
Let alone that game.
And you know what the irony of is if somebody was in the crowd and they just had that game, they'd probably put it on YouTube and the WTA would ask to have it taken down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So 5 love now, Iga Swiatek. And yeah, this has a feel like it could be a sort of 1 and 2 last couple of sets, but we'll see. Public holiday here in Germany tomorrow.
Yeah, here as well.
1st of May, yeah.
It's the stands look half empty, at least half. Yeah, okay. Maybe Alcaraz fans will join a bit later because that match is right after this one in the same session.
Is. And it might be just about on time because I think it's not before 4 o'clock local time. But
yeah,
pretty much whatever happens in this match now, I think it'll be finished probably within the hour. Andreeva Paulini, yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever interview Andreeva?
No, not yet. I mean, she's only been on the tour a year. Listen, I've come out in criticism, of course, of some of the people that organize, and I think with the younger players such as her, I can understand why. I would imagine her family would be like, you know what, just no need to do one-to-one interviews. But I haven't even tried, and I don't think I've even been. I was in Madrid last year, but I was sort of, getting one-to-ones, but probably asking a little bit further down the food chain, even than Andreeva. But no, I'm sure she'd be a great interview.
I mean, from what I've been watching on, her tennis channel interviews and Kasatkina's vlog, she's amazing. She's
okay.
And Kasatkina said Andreeva is the best guest they had because of how much material she gives.
Okay. Yeah, there's some. I mean, I haven't seen the blog, but or the vlog, but yeah, Andreeva, that sort of fits for me. She does seem very much a very forthright person, a bit like Susie Lehman's in a way. I can imagine.
Exactly.
How,
Same vibes, definitely.
Yeah.
A bagel, breadstick, or a break back. I mean, she has to hold first, of course.
Yeah.
Haddad Maia.
I think it's a breadstick or a bagel. We'll see. Yep, just turned 17. Is it her birthday today as well, or was that yesterday, Mira Andreeva? Maybe yesterday.
I think yesterday.
Yeah. Got it. I'll have to check that out if I get a chance, Alex.
Yeah, she was saying she was going to post that. I haven't watched it either.
By the way, for those in the live chat in particular who've been asking, Damien is actually going to join us for 5 minutes at the end of this match to share his thoughts on the probable three-setter. If Haddad Maia gets this done in straights now, it'll be probably the surprise of the year.
Yeah. That's not happening.
No.
Yeah, Iga was late about challenging, I think. But she lets
yeah,
it go.
I saw that. Yeah, saw that little debate. At the end of this set, I'm going to get your thoughts on Rafa. Nadal, just in case you weren't sure. It was not Rafa Benitez.
Okay. I was thinking of another Rafa. You were faster. You were quicker.
Yeah, I was trying to think one, and it took me a couple of seconds longer than I wanted, but it was just in time. Yeah.
The junior? Okay, it's too late.
Oh yeah, Rafa Junior.
Come up with another one.
Yeah.
I think Haddad Maia is just up to her first serve speed, but missing them.
And we have a set point for Iga Swiatek. The Iga finish narrative. It's very much on ice. Ooh. But it was close. I always think the swing volley is the most nervy shot in tennis. At least for me, I see a lot of
Yeah.
people putting it away with consummate ease, even under pressure. But
Yeah, I agree. Except Serena and Sharapova, I haven't watched a swing volley at like at ease.
yeah, I just think you've got so much time to think about it, and it's not as much of a dead cert point as a smash. You've also got the option with the smash of sort of taking it a little bit easier, and of course you can get punished for that, and it is a sign of nerves as well. But the swing volley, there's not really the I'm going to take this easy option. You've either got to commit or not do it at all. By the
Yeah.
way, Bayer got away with that one there with that lengthy forehand from Swiatek. I mean, everything will be fine in terms of ego in this set, whatever happens. But still, Jake's saying that Vika's got a good swing volley and that Bencic
Yeah,
loves them.
that's right.
I mean, I love them, and I love doing them as well on a tennis court.
I hate hitting swing volleys.
I love hitting them, but that doesn't tell you that I'm doing them with any great success. I will say this, though. Am I doing it when I'm match point down? I don't recall it ever happening to me, but I'm probably letting the ball bounce or doing something else. Probably. I say that. There is another thing with the swing volley, is that you just give it your all, and I mess it up, and that's down to technique, and I need to get better, but I'm trying to get better at them, because I tell you what, when you pull it off, it's at our level, it's the one where people sort of give you a clap when it happens, if you like.
Yeah, that's a trap. If you're going for the clap, then
yeah, that's my ego. That's my ego getting in the way.
yeah, if you go for the winner, you always get beaten by the guys who will lob you and drop you.
I think it was wasn't it a backhand swing? No. No, it's a forehand swing volley from Djokovic, wasn't it, on break point against Alcaraz?
Yeah.
And he had 3 options on that. I remember speaking to Steve Flink about this.
Final set, Wimbledon final, right?
Yeah, I think the second game, maybe 1-love Djokovic, I think. And Alcaraz is serving and he's break point down. And it is the point, and you can make a case that he wins this point. He does the calendar slam.
Yeah.
But he has 3 options there. And one is actually to go for an awkward smash, but we know how Djokovic is on that. And by the way, he's got time to, I know we're having a conversation here that's lasting, a few minutes, but trust me, when the ball is going, sometimes you don't have time, you just got the line instinct. But this is a ball where you can actually factor in those 2 seconds, you can go, I'm rubbish at smashes, so I'm going to do this. You've got enough time to rationalize that. And I think he is doing that. I think some players will go for the awkward smash. There is a third option, and this I think was the best option, in my opinion. Let it bounce. There is a chance. I think I would go as high as saying 50-50 that it lands out. I've watched it half a dozen times, and I still don't know if it's landing in. So let it bounce. And you're probably still in charge of the rally, even then. Anyway. Yes, Sean, I agree. Especially as I'm not a topspin guy, but actually on the forehand swing volley, for some reason, I can get a bit of topspin on that as opposed to just the natural shot making. Set point number 3 here for Iga Swiatek. I'm not going to look at the scoreboard on the screen, so I can focus on this point. I've got a forehand from her going to the forehand, of course, of the lefty. Bayer. Oh, what a lovely cross-court winner from the aforementioned finished. She should retire. What happened to her bakery, Iga Swiatek? She's just won the set 6.
She comes back with a bagel. I mean, in that game, Haddad Maia missed first serves. I think that was maybe the only thing she could have improved, because Iga hit very deep returns, but Haddad Maia somehow stayed in the rally with deep responses. But yeah, higher level from Iga.
It's a higher love. Yep.
More aggressive returns. I
think she was so annoyed at her level in the first set.
I think so.
I think even Bayer in the first set was okay,
Yeah.
but
I think Haddad Maia also dropped level a bit. She didn't mix at all. No drop shots, no coming to the net in the first set, like as in the first set. Yeah, let's see if there will be a reset on her side before the deciding set one.
yeah. So I was in Madrid last year. Oh, okay, Rafa. So where are we at in terms of the Rafa train? In terms of he's going to win the French Open to he's not beating Lehecka today.
I'm closer to, like, if we put a line just in the middle of those, I'm closer to he's not beating Lehecka today.
Yes.
I mean, he hasn't played a very good clay court player yet.
No.
He's not as fast as he would like to be, I think. The
Agreed.
serve is coming back.
Serve is coming back, yes.
It's the serve speed is increasing, but slowly, not just yet.
Yes.
But I think he overachieved, like for his expectations in Madrid. I think because I think this is his last year. I don't know if he ever really confirmed it.
Not 100%, but yes.
Yeah, but if it wasn't his last year this year, I would think he would definitely skip Madrid because he doesn't like the conditions here. This is the Clay Masters he won the least.
Yep.
So 3 wins is already more than enough. And my thought, like speculation, is that's why they didn't enter the doubles draw with Alcaraz, because he won so many matches. He's still in the singles draw because I think they want to do some Olympics, rehearsals. And Madrid could be one, but he won 3 matches without too much hassle. Like yesterday it was okay. I think Paris will be different, very different to what we're watching now. And he's saying like he's gonna give it all in Paris. He has gears to go up. So I'm not sure what we're gonna see yet. But he plays it very safe every interview.
Yeah,
which he always does. He always did. So I have no idea. But I wouldn't be surprised if he did like quarters in Paris. But semis or final would be a shock to me with how he's playing right now.
I do think 5 sets could be a big problem. I know people have said yesterday that they were impressed with him, and I was too, particularly compared to where he was, where he was before even playing Barcelona. We didn't even know if he'd be able to serve a set, never mind play 3. I do think that in the last 2 or 3 games yesterday, he was starting to blow a bit and starting to feel it a bit. I wonder if he has a 4-setter in one of those rounds, for example, in Paris. Let's say he does manage to get through a 4-setter in rounds 1 or 2, and then he comes up with a 5-setter like he did, for example, against Felix, if you remember, in 2022.
Yeah.
On the upside, as you say, though, if this was any other year, in fact, this is every other year, and he loses, say, to Lehecka like he lost to Carlos in 2022 or Zverev in 2021, and you just go, well, that's just another normal Madrid. He's still favorite for, and he could be putting in exactly the same performances. We could say, oh, his serve seems a bit off, and surprising he got pushed by 3, but good win over De Minaur, and you just go, this is just another normal Madrid. If you didn't know everything else that was going on, you might be looking at the service speeds, thinking about something if you really wanted to pay that kind of attention to detail. But That's not me, of course, suggesting this is going to be like any other year where you would put him at the top of the tree. But even saying what you just said just now, Gokap, I think he's probably getting to the quarters or something like that, as long as the draw is not crazily difficult. That 10 days ago, after he lost to De Minaur in Barcelona, or if we go back a few days or a few weeks before that, when we just didn't even know he was going to play a tennis match this clay court season, never mind a couple of tournaments, that would have been like, I think you need to think that over a bit more, Gokap. But that now is the sort of almost the average response now, rather than the sort of crazy optimistic take.
Yeah, and the fact that he played Madrid is, I think it means a lot. He said yesterday that he didn't feel pain in the match against Kachin, which is a good sign.
Yeah.
But he has such a unconventional clay masters draw here. Blanche, De Minaur, Kachin, Lehechka, and then Medvedev.
Yeah. For an unseeded player,
Yeah.
you know, that's not going to get much better, because of course you could get Alcaraz in the first round, in your first match. Sorry, you could also get, who could he have got in? He could have got De Minaur. No, not De Minaur, but he could have got in the first round he could have had Fonseca maybe. And I'm sure there's other potential players in the first round that would have been equally difficult, if not more so than Fonseca. You know, and he could have got Alcaraz in the second round. He could have got Casper Ruud in the fourth round, and so on and so forth. Maybe not Casper Ruud in the fourth round, but if you've got Alcaraz already. But you see where I'm going with this anyway. You know,
and those things can happen in Paris. That's the other thing.
That's the other thing. They can happen easily. He could have Alcaraz in the first round. He could have Fonseca in the second round. In the third round, it would be a top 32 player, but somewhere between 17 and 32. So it could be, say, a Bublik or a Lehecka, or somebody like that. And then in the fourth round, he could have top 16, but between 16 and 9. Where's Tsitsipas right now? Around that? Is he top 10 again now?
7,
Tsitsipas?
I think.
Oh, okay. Who's sort of ranked 9 to 16? Who's super, super difficult?
The Americans, Paul, Shelton,
Yeah.
Fritz, those guys.
Yeah. Right. So, and he's going to get someone of those, you know.
Yeah. I mean, there are also a lot of unseeded players who have done
Marajan,
had great play seasons.
Yeah, where's Marajan these days? Where's Sabot Wild? I think they're both outside the top 32. So
yeah, they are.
So yeah, they could be second round opponents after an Alcaraz or a Djokovic, or even a Zverev. You know, I mean, there's probably half a dozen players that he would desperately want to avoid, and that's a lot for a first round and even beyond. I mean, by the way, he could get a nice first round, but get Alcaraz or Djokovic in the second. You know. And the chance, and although I'm going but you know, this has got to actually, when you throw in all the permutations, it actually almost becomes likely, you know, that he's going to get a Djokovic or an Alcaraz in the first. If he's Djokovic, Alcaraz, Zverev, Tsitsipas, there's quite a good chance he gets one of them in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So yes, that's the issue. But he is getting the matches under the belt now.
So 1 winner and 14 unforced errors from Haddad Maia in that second set.
0 from 0 break points 1. Iga didn't even do that great on the break point opportunity she had. She had 7 of them before converting 3. And she's now won 7 games in a row.
I think that supports the not a real bagel a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a gluten-free bagel.
How threatening is Hugo Humbert for the French Open, asks Ghosty. Not that threatening for me. I thought he might beat Struffy here. I know I like Struffy in these conditions. I like Struffy in most conditions, actually, to be honest with you. That's one of the beauties of his game. But I thought maybe here, in this sort of semi-indoor environment that you kind of get created here in Madrid, that might suit him. But Yeah, I'm not so sure about the French Open in general. If indeed. Where is Struffy in the live rankings?
He's defending a lot.
Of course he is, yeah. 1,000 points here, quite a few in Stuttgart, of course. But then the second half of the season.
No, I mean Struff is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's-
So did I say 1,000 here? I didn't mean it. No,
Yeah.
I meant a final appearance here, yeah. But yeah, 2 finals in the next few weeks to defend.
Yeah, this is a very crucial game, I think, for Haddad Maia. First service game.
Yes. No, so Struff in the live rankings is actually 40. I think he'd probably have to win the title to break the top 20. Terry here talking about protected ranking for Rafa in terms of helping him in the draw.
How does that work? So he
Not-
gets in as any other unseeded player.
Yeah.
He can't use that for seeding, but
No.
he gets in the draw.
Yeah. Yeah, so rather than having to be top 96 or often more realistically top 100, is it 96? Like if everyone's fit, is it like ignoring protected rankings and stuff, something like that?
Something like that. There are.
It often. I mean, I've spoken to 1 or 2 people about this. You know, like David Samuel, the coach of Liam Brody, and just like and obviously Dominic Thiem. And often, if you're top 100, you just about make the main draw because of dropouts and injuries and stuff.
Yeah, you have 16 qualifiers, I think, and then some wild cards. So it must be around that.
8 wild cards, 16 qualifiers. What's that? 16, 24, 132 player draw. Maybe it's a bit higher than I'm just trying to think. But then, of course, as you say, a few protected ranking people in there.
Yeah.
Is it 8 wild cards? Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah. (40-30) here on the Haddad Maia serve, but as you said, you know, to break this 7-game-in-a-row streak, Haddad Maia's going to really have to get on the board here. What has Nick Kyrgios said about the David Law cash-in thing? Somebody in the chat is talking about it.
Did he use a vegetable name or a potato?
Oh,
or
yeah.
something like that?
Yeah, you potato or whatever. No, I think Ghost is up to date with Shirtgate, but we just don't know what Nick Kyrgios had to say. Or at least I thought Ghosty was up to date with that. Great point here for Iga Swiatek.
Yeah, you have to watch that.
I'm watching it. Waiting for it to unfold. So first serve here for Maia. Lands in, backhand return. Okay. Both players hitting the ball with some venom here. Change of direction from Iga. Good depth there, though, from Maia. Good depth again. Ooh. On the forehand of Maia to the backhand of Iga. That cross-court exchange, of course, lefty-righty combo. Still more good depth from Maia, but it's not really having the desired effect in terms of bringing either a short ball or an error from the racket of Iga. And Iga changes it up. Now Iga, as a result of that change of direction, is in charge of the point. Oh, Maia. Just a complete lack of belief at the end there.
That was some rally.
It was some rally, and one that Iga won, and Maia is frustrated. 2 games to love now. That's 8 games in a row. And yeah, there we go. Yeah, Ghosty, we spoke about it in sort of 2 phases last night, at least in one significant phase on the show. I remember Damien and I had a quick 5-minute discussion about it. Let's show that here. Lehetsko apparently beat Nadal in practice a couple of weeks ago, no less, I guess, about a week ago, because Nadal was asked about it in his press conference about the match, and he said, well, I lost to him last week in practice. So.
I watched that, yeah. I didn't watch the whole set, but Nadal didn't look like how he's playing today.
Okay, so you saw the practice set. That was
because it was... Yeah, they were streaming it live.
Yeah. I didn't see it, but I haven't even seen it retrospectively. Yeah. I knew
he was a different player.
I knew that whatever Nick said, and I still don't know what Nick said, but I knew Ghosty would agree with him. But by the way, maybe Nick is right. Well, I would like to know what Nick said, by the way. Let's see if I can find it.
A lengthy conversation between Haddad Maia and her coach. Only from like his final gestures, I think he's telling her to be quiet.
Okay.
Not maybe get whine too much.
Okay.
Focus on the game. Like, I'm only making these up from the hand gestures. And they work in the first points of this game. I mean, she will never let it go in this set, for sure. I think she's the player with the most matches above 3 hours last year.
So this is the Nick Kyrgios response. Yeah, I tell you where I would draw the line with Nick. If Nick Kyrgios ends this first response with why NBA players, soccer players do it all the time. It's a memory and experience that took a lifetime of work and that less than 1% of humans would get to. If he finishes it at the end of that sentence, puts a full stop on it, I 100% agree with him, and or at least I'm fine with it.
Come on, you're describing a reasonable person.
The problem is I don't like the line "you wouldn't understand," because I think that doesn't mean that someone that means you can't have an opinion. And I think sport is for everybody, whether you've never played it, whether you've played at the highest level. That doesn't mean that Nick Kyrgios's argument doesn't perhaps carry more weight. What's it like to feel like being in a Wimbledon final? You know, sure, Nick Kyrgios's response to that question is going to carry more weight than David Law's response. However, and by the way, I'm pretty much with the cash-in side of the argument. I'm okay with him doing that. I think there's a concern that maybe cash-in would be overawed by the occasion, and I think he was at the beginning of the match, but it is kind of understandable. I mean, if you're a small Turkish club, and you'll have to give me an example, Gökhan, and you go to the Ali Sami Yen Stadium to play Galatasaray, you might be overawed by the occasion. Some of these players might be your hero, and at the end of the match, you're desperate to exchange shirts.
Yeah.
But you might upset some of your fans when you do that as
Huh.
well. But that's just human nature. And so I'm pretty much, as you can tell, on the side of cash in. The only thing I would say is I wouldn't go as far as you wouldn't understand. You don't have the right to have because everybody,
Yeah.
and so and sport, football probably more than any other sport is there. I see Beatriz Haddad Maia, by the way, is broken back.
Amazing game.
Sorry.
Completely
let's get back to
different.
that.
Completely different intensity. After that, I mean, it should have been a huge disappointment, right? Getting broken in your first service game in the decider.
Yeah.
She kind of resets in a second or two. Takes the lead in all of the rallies, including that break point where she changed directions. Very good play.
Yeah. Nice one, Bayer. Maybe that pep talk from the coach helped.
Yeah, I saw Sean asked, has anyone done that before? I saw a tweet from TikTok Tennis saying Hugo Delien, he asked Djokovic after they played at the Olympics, I want to say. But there must have been more. I remember when Goffin played Federer the first time at Roland Garros, the headlines were like, he had his pictures on his, bedroom walls. I mean, this is of course going to happen. These guys are 37, 38, like complete different generation.
Yeah, it's going to happen, and there's just not much you can do about it.
And they're like greatest athletes of the generation, not even the sport. Like, if you get a chance.
Yeah, as Ghosty says, if he then puts it on eBay, although that would be
I was thinking the same thing.
That would be funny.
Like, how much is that worth?
Yeah.
The shirt he wore in his final Madrid tournament. If it's not, then it just goes down to $5.
I saw in the Instagram post, by the way, he put a heart over the Nike sign, and I wonder if that's because he's like obviously I think he's got K-Swiss as at least his kit provider, but probably sponsor. So it's like, I'm going to post this on Instagram, but I'm going to put a heart over the Nike sign just to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was why.
As well, Sean here. That would be great. Even just do it as a fake thing and tag David Law in the picture or something that you tweet out there. That would be funny.
I mean, if Rafa wins today, Medvedev should do it. That would be another level.
Yeah, especially if Medi says, you haven't got your Australian Open one as well, have you?
Yeah.
That would be
I hear you're with Illuminati. Can I take your shirt, please?
Yeah.
The nerves and her performance are in waves this set. Every game a different Haddad Maia. Swiatek is more stable. At least she's smiling this time.
Love 15. It's been a kind of strange match, really. Oh, a double fault. Love 30. It's not been like, obviously that was a straight sets win, but that match between the two in the French Open, I think, was a higher quality.
Yeah, the second set, definitely.
Second set, yeah. Not that I'm aware of, Ghosty, but maybe he did. So 15-30 here on the Bayer serve. I'm seeing her put forehand down the line, but it's not worked because Iga's defending pretty well. And now she's even turning up turning the screw a bit. Can Bayer get... At times I feel like Bayer's almost moving in slow motion.
Yeah, she's not the best mover.
That's a funny response, Cock-up.
I get surprised how many balls she makes every time I watch her. And I'll tell you a story because I watched her live against İpek Öz. I had just met İpek. She's now Turkey's second best player, just inside top 200. Now we're close friends, but at that time I was just supporting her because it was a tournament in Geneva. I was living there anyway. So she makes the final as a lucky loser.
Sorry, who's this? Is that Pemra Ozgen?
İpek Öz.
Okay, İpek. Oh yeah, got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
So she plays Haddad Maia in the final.
Okay.
And it's a 60K. And I knew Haddad Maia used to be, I think, top 30. Before her suspension, she beat Muguruza at Wimbledon. Like, we know she's a big player. And then İpek plays an amazing first set to win it, 7-5. It's a very hot day. And then just like here, she loses, I think, the next 6-1 or something. Very quick second set. Haddad Maia wins it. And in the third, Haddad Maia goes up 5-3. Break point for İpek. She's about to come back into the match. Haddad Maia misses the first serve. Like, it's been 3 hours by that point under heat, afternoon heat. Second serve, she serves an underarm. We were shocked. The first time she's ever done it.
Okay.
And İpek makes the return, but misses a smash. And then 6-3, she closes it out. After that, she went like skyrocketed in a few months. She was like top 20 already. Haddad Maia, but I experienced up close like how she will never ever give up. Even maybe except the second sets. Like the final sets, she will not give up.
Got it. She's obviously in a spot of bother here now, down a break again and at 30 love. Taylor Fritz, of course, winning early on in straight sets to make the quarterfinals in Madrid. And that means he's now reached the quarterfinals in every Masters 1000 or Grand Slam, apart from the French Open, Rome, Canada, Shanghai. I think that list is too long to make it an apart from. You know, if you said he's made the quarterfinals in every Masters 1000 or Grand Slam except for Rome and Canada, that's okay. But for me, it has to be two. Once you go Rome, Canada, Shanghai, and when you go Rome, Canada, Shanghai, Roland Garros, then yeah. I mean, there's 9. There's so he's made him in 9. Maybe even just tweeting 9 out of the 13 is better. Does that make sense?
I thought this was consecutive or the last year or something. If this is career, I mean, Fritz should be able to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just saying that, you know, I'm a vegetarian except on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You know, it's like, well, that's almost a half of the week, you know.
Still something.
Yeah, it's still something. At least I do 4 days in a row as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Space Ninja. I will tell her.
Okay. Much tougher than a Ben Shelton. Swiatek has a game point for 4-1, which would then feel like a significant advantage rather than just the break with 3-1. Especially if she was at 30 all in this game.
This is like the best commentary for her name. I will forward all of this.
Cerundolo has taken the first set. Is that over Zverev, by the way? Is that who he's playing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's notable.
Yeah, I saw a poll today. Which upset would you pick? And
Damien?
Cerundolo was
You mean Damien?
no.
You said you saw a poll.
It wasn't him.
Hey. Well, I'm watching a poll right now. Sorry. Okay. I won't disrupt you anymore.
Yeah. I don't know how you say it differently. Poll.
No, you're saying it perfectly. It's a play on words that I'm
Okay.
messing around.
It's the same
with. Sorry.
pronunciation. Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
So yeah, which one of the 4 upsets would you go for? I went for Cerundolo. So I'm
Did
happy.
you?
Yeah.
So this is on talking about all the matches from today.
No, just 4 that this account picked. I'm gonna try to find it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking. I mean, if you said Bayer, Haddad Maia, or Cerundolo, probably I'm going Cerundolo. But that's not because I think Cerundolo's winning. What others would there be today? Bublik beating Medvedev is not a big surprise. So if you put Bublik Medvedev in there,
I'm gonna give you the options. Struff beating Alcaraz. Felix beating Casper.
Okay.
Griekspoor beating Grublev, which finished, I think.
Yeah.
And then Cerundolo beating Zverev.
That's a good group. I like the group because they are quite even. You know, it's like Bayer maybe is a bit of a long shot, but if Bublik had been in there, for example, then, you know, or Lehetska or Nadal, whichever way around you want to put that. But I like that group because it is tricky. So it's Felix to beat Casper. It's Cerundolo to beat Zverev. It's Struff to beat Alcaraz. And the other one, probably I'd go Griekspoor. Probably.
I think that got the most votes.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And I might even go Struff before Cerundolo. Might go Struff.
Griekspoor got the most votes.
I'd probably go Cerundolo. I think the least likely is probably Felix. Probably. I mean, the thing is with these polls, was it on Twitter, by the way?
Yeah.
You get fans. So let's just say Nadal plays Zverev, right? I would put Nadal as a pretty clear underdog in that, sort of a 75-25, which is what most of those matches feel like to me. But you got lots of affidavit. I mean, I do polls before matches. You know, Naomi Osaka against Bayer Haddad Maia, for example, and maybe Naomi Osaka has a lot more fans. So, you know, Alcaraz Struff, for example, will probably get 90-10 for Alcaraz, whereas that's not a fair. But anyway, you get my point. I see that. By the way, I think if my screen is not deceiving me, it's actually now up a set and a break.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a break or if that's a mistake.
Well, according to the Google thing, it says 2-1 and the green dot is beside the name, and they are 98% of the time on it. So,
okay,
yeah. I don't know why Jane is shocked at Fritz beating Hubie. I think I saw a similar gasp from Ghosty earlier. To me, that's a 50-50. Fritz Hubie on clay. Maybe Fritz slight favor. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, Bayer looking frustrated. And she might go a double breakdown here.
So Fritz was up 2-1 in their head-to-head. So not that.
No, have they played on clay before?
No.
No.
Twice on hard and just once on the grass.
Yeah. They're both, you know, the first set was a tie, but I don't know. To me, that was just such a tough one to call.
Yeah. 7-6, 6-4. It's just you know, their scoreline.
Hubie's won 1 clay court tournament, not more than one. It was also against. It was quite a nice draw, let's say, particularly the final. Yeah, and also against a cooked opponent. So listen, you win a tournament, hats off, but it doesn't make you the favorite to beat Taylor Fritz for me. And Terry confirming, by the way, it is indeed a set and a break for Cerundolo.
Okay.
So I'm going to switch my attention to my screen as I see 30-all Haddad Maia. Is she challenging something here? She's having a little chat with the umpire. She is challenging. Her first serve landed in, and it didn't. So it's a second serve here, and another break of serve for Iga, and it would just feel like completely good night, Vienna. Oh, a horrible backhand return there from Iga. She got that all wrong, and it's 40-30 and game point for Haddad Maia.
A very good rally at 40-30, but
Maia's gone wide, so at deuce.
yeah, trying to change the direction. She makes a mistake. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense as an American. I remember reading McEnroe's biography or somebody else's that McEnroe told them, look, you're going to get whooped. Exactly. When you go to Europe by someone you've never heard before.
Okay.
So lower your expectations. That's what he was telling them. I don't remember.
Still made a French Open final.
Yeah.
And I think that French Open final that McEnroe lost is one that sort of bothers him most, maybe.
Yeah, he was up 2-0, I think.
Was it Ivan Lendl?
Yeah. There was something off court that happened. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, either it was someone who he knew came in.
Okay.
Like something like that happened, and then he lost concentration.
Very kind of similar thing. I'll just talk about it in a second. It's got a break point here for Iga, but remind me of Chris Evert, and I'll mention the story as we see this rally going on. And Bayer is very happy to win that rally. Go back to juice. So Chris Evert, a Wimbledon final against Martina Navratilova. I don't know the exact year, but she said that she had no focus at all in the entire final because she was so in love with John Lloyd. Her boyfriend and was going to become her husband. So she was just sort of in her daze and didn't really care about winning or losing. And I think she got beaten quite badly. Let's have a quick look to see when that might have been. I don't know how many Wimbledon finals they contested. Maybe a few, I don't know.
1980.
Just having a look now.
Nice to meet you as well, Jake. I just saw he typed in Turkish. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it was the cameras. Yes, you're right. That bothered McEnroe in that final.
Oh, it's the cameras.
Yeah.
Like cameras from the fans or
No, the professional photographers, I think.
Okay. Who was it? I think was maybe a bit annoyed with me, but it's sort of it was in Estoril. Yeah, I just don't remember the player now.
I mean, you were really close, right?
I know, yeah. And I sort of just moved a little bit, I think. But it wasn't like as the guy was serving, but I just can't remember who it was now. And the umpire was, I know the umpire was Carlos, because Carlos actually looked at somebody else and started talking to them. And I thought, I think you should be talking to me, Carlos, because I think the player annoyed me.
Nice fair play.
Yeah, but I didn't say that. I didn't. It would be fair play if I went.
You didn't. Okay.
I'm not coming back. I'm going home. See you. But I just let the discussion between Carlos. I mean, if I'd have got involved there, it'd have been too much of a distraction. Bayer holds, by the way.
Great hold. Again, like just hanging in there.
78, maybe. They played a final in Wimbledon, Everton, Navratilova, maybe the only one. Looks like it's the only
the
one.
forehand is looking, shoulders are loose, I think, with Haddad Maia now. But that might change next point, next game. You never know.
Terry, are we streaming the Carlos match? I'm not sure. I'm leaning towards no at the moment, Terry, because I need a break. And the only person that I know can do it is Eddie, and Eddie sort of needs a sidekick, if you like. So, and I'm honestly, I've done 2 back-to-back streams now. I need to get to the gym and do a few other things. Got some washing to do as well. So I'm at the moment, Terry, as much as I'd love to stream, I think we're probably not going to do the Carlos Struffy match. I think I'll probably just go to the gym and watch it on my phone.
Now, better points. I mean,
I'm watching now, yeah.
Yeah. I love 15 as well.
Yeah, lovely forehand winner there from Bear. Bear was 4-1 down in the first set. Yeah, so she was a breakdown, wasn't she? But one slight consolation, Terry, is we are going to get Damien on at the end of this match for 5 minutes to just give us an eager breakdown. Well, eager breakdown. I don't mean that as a thing to say that she's going to break down in this match and that she's going to choke, but a breakdown on this match and the fact that they're 2 poles, and probably whatever happens, the narrative will be eager based just because of where she's at in the game.
Yeah.
That crouching kind of backhand that she does is special.
Yeah, I love it. I remember Radwanska, every time someone does that.
Okay.
She used to do it all the time. Just like not giving space, going down to take the ball early, but it's not easy to do.
No, very not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, Leila does that as well.
Leila's
Raducanu.
Yeah. I mean, Leila does it, I think, because even more so than Iga, she just takes the ball so early.
Yeah, Kerber.
Kerber? Okay.
Kerber's basically just sitting down half of the time. I mean, with that flat, both forehand and backhand, she has to take the ball early, so it makes sense.
Yeah. 30 all, another clenched fist from Bayo at 30-15 to go to 30 all.
Yeah, and again, changing the direction to down the line on the forehand. That's worked for her today. When she could do it, execute that shot. Yeah, I think that's one thing that Rybakina does more easily against Iga.
She's got to do better than that on the turn, Bayo. I know there was a bit of a kick on that one, but... Game point here for Iga for 5-2. Goes long on the first serve. Quite a few people tuning on YouTube. Please do hit like and hit subscribe. Gokup, how's going on? I've just seen that Swiatek has held. How's your YouTube channel going? Have you had any shows recently? Had any interviews or anything lined up?
We interviewed Zeynep a few weeks ago.
Okay. Before or after I had grilled her?
No, before. After the Australian Open, because
Okay.
that was a huge success. I mean, we haven't had someone close to the main draw in years, and she made it to the final round of qualifying.
Yeah.
But apparently she was playing with an ab tear for 4 matches coming from Brisbane.
Wow.
So she told us about that. I would have loved to recommend you our channel, but it's 90% Turkish.
Well, I mean, you mean obviously that interview, but I guess, yeah, I suppose. I think I've tuned in a couple of times, and
Yeah.
no offense, but tuned out. But you do some
Yeah.
in English, then, do you?
Yeah, we try to do vlogs at least when we go to tournaments.
In English, okay.
Yeah, those are in English.
But have you ever done some interviews in English too?
Not yet, no.
I mean, I guess for you, I was on a Brazilian YouTube channel about 3 months ago, and we did it.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I don't speak Portuguese, not really. I've had a few lessons and stuff, but we sort of did a mix anyway between the two languages. Occasionally, I would understand the question in Portuguese, but more often not. I mean, it's fine, but of course, you need to think about your audience, and if your audience, you don't want to confuse your audience. I have the same thing, but actually, I think I've got a nice. Thank you for the compliment, court merch, by the way, and anyone watching on Twitter, do get involved in the chat. I think with just basically doing content like this in English, boom, done.
Mhm.
But if I'm at a press conference and half of it is in Croatian or Polish or Russian or Chinese or whatever the language is, I leave the camera going and still put it out there for the masses to tune into,
Yeah,
because you're sort of investing in the player in the press conference, if you like, and you're finding it
definitely.
through Google rather than necessarily being a fan of Damien's take on the world number 272 in English.
I mean, thank Damien for that, but
Indeed.
otherwise we don't have anything.
Yeah,
But I
exactly.
mean, I appreciate that a lot. I see from the titles you post the videos. It maybe sometimes it's German titles, sometimes it's French. I understand that
at
that's
the press
the
conference. Yeah.
native language part of the press conference.
And I have done stuff in Spanish because I'm a Spanish speaker. So I have done press conference questions in Spanish. I even did a first ever watch along in Spanish with,
Wow, very
yeah,
nice.
me and Bruno did that a week ago for Rafa's first match against Darwin Blanche. Maybe we were a bit lucky in terms of it being an hour as well. But yeah, it's sport. And in a way, it sounds really difficult, and it can be, like in a tongue that you're not native in, if you're a sort of a
Yeah,
fluent speaker, but not necessarily top. But then, actually, sport is actually in a way another sort of easier thing to negotiate, because you sort of learn these expressions that you kind of need to know pretty quickly. I mean, you can be we see these footballers play in countries for years, and they sort of aren't fluent enough to do an interview, but they're fine on the pitch
yeah,
because, yeah. So
yeah. We
there we
can
go.
have you on the show because we don't have Turkish terms for anything in tennis. We say forehand, backhand,
Oh,
volley.
okay. Well, there you
We say
go.
volley.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I'm
Service.
not. A lot of languages, I'm sure, do adopt it. I mean, uh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Haddad Maia here, 15 all 2-5. Obviously, serving to stay in the match.
2 hours, 25 minutes.
Including a 6-lev set. But
Yeah.
that's also Haddad Maia. No? I mean, she's sort of a Sorribes Tormo, but better.
That was an active rest. Kind of.
A what?
An active rest.
From
You
where?
rest, not push too much.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. So a winner there down the line from Haddad Maia that was not hit with the biggest of velocity, but that's exactly all she needed to do. Almost hit just a practice shot with good margin down the line. A shot that neither of those two protagonists last night, Collins or Sabalenka, have ever hit in their life, but do what you do best. Long on the first serve. I'm glad that Ghosty liked my Sorribes Tormo. Yeah. It's just the first thought that came in my mind. Ooh, that double fault. Haddad Maia and double faults, is it a thing? It feels like it. Do you think that Haddad Maia and double faults is a thing, Gokap?
Yeah, it was yesterday at crucial points. Not yesterday, but the day before against Sakari.
Mm-hmm.
But
that was yesterday, wasn't it? I think it was yesterday.
Was it yesterday? Yeah, this tournament is messing with my head.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it was like she hit a double fault on a break point once, but she was up double break, and then she was almost giving the second break away with another double fault at 30 all.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a thing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Not as bad as some others, though.
Nice defense there from Maia. But we have a match point for Iga Swiatek. And I'm not going to look at the screen. I'm not going to look down, because as soon as I see Damien's face in the background, I'll know that the match has finished. Because his stream is the fastest on the planet.
Okay. I'm going to keep a straight face. I'm not going to give it away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't want to throw Coco under the bus. That's why I didn't name her. But I'm also thinking of Sabalenka 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah, in terms of double faults, yeah.
Yeah.
So 30-40 here. Haddad Maia serving. Down the T, forehand return is good depth there. And she's in a lot of trouble here with Iga on the forehand. Can she defend this one? I don't think so. It's going to land out. Iga Swiatek gets over the line. 6-2 in the third set. Coco has a double fault problem indeed. Yes, she's obviously someone who springs to mind as well. But yes, there we go.
Yeah. Big Yazda from Iga. I mean, this was an intense match. I think she's happy it's over.
Yeah, I think it was a challenge for her, particularly as she wasn't playing at the, let's say, the height of her powers. Even during that comeback at 6-love and 6-2, it looks like it's another classic Iga performance, but I think she's certainly got another gear or two. We were talking about polls earlier, and Gokap was wondering about his own pronunciation when I played a pun on that, and he's like, oh, are the two words pronounced differently? I was like, no, I'm just doing a lame joke. But anyway, talking of polls, we have one now on our screen in brightest and lightest Poland, and he's going to tell us what he makes of that Iga Swiatek 3-set win over Beatriz Haddad Maia.
I mean, where do we start? Of course, the first set was a little blown by her. I mean, 4-1 up. The 2 40-love leads that she had on return, and they didn't turn into anything. But I do think that Haddad Maia is obviously a pretty tricky opponent. She makes it so physical. She's a lefty. You don't really see Iga playing much against them on the tour. And that was kind of as well what I was expecting right away. But after that, I mean, it was pretty brutal, of course. She just kind of like gave Haddad Maia nothing until the end of the match. Literally nothing. Like there was nothing that she could do from start to finish in the second and third set. Which is pretty brutal because, well, you win the first and you're kind of like, oh, yeah, I'm a set to the good. You know, I'm pretty close to that upset. And yeah, I mean, after that, she just had absolutely no chance. Of course, Igana makes the semis, gonna play Keith Jabber. Let's be honest, she's a big favorite to make the final. And after that, we'll see. I mean, have we learned much today? Probably not.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I don't think we've learned a lot. Other than that Iga is able to throw in some stinkers, if you like, even if it's for 15-20 minutes, as she did from 4-1 up in the first set. Gokap, have you got anything to add to something that Damien just said?
I was looking at the stats. 62% second serve one for Iga. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, more than 50 on both returns, first and second. But yeah, I agree. Not a lot of more insight than what we already had for Iga.
Did Maia... Go on, Damien. Go on.
No, I just wanted to say that, like, in matches like this, stats usually don't really mean a great deal because, well, it's such dominance in the second and third set that obviously you're going to be winning, you know, a ton of points, regardless of when they're happening, really. But yeah, what were you going to say?
did Bayer let her off the hook a bit today, though? I think. I mean, you
When?
said there was. I don't know. I think Bayer's level was a bit messy, shall we say, during the sets 2 and 3, and maybe even at times in the first set. It didn't feel like. I was going to say it didn't feel like a complete performance, and you might say to me, "Well, when has ever Bayer done a complete performance against someone of that of Iga's level?" That's true. So I know there's stuff going on the other side of the net. I just think that Iga's performance today would probably have been punished by the performance I saw from Sabalenka last night and the performance I know that Elena Rybakina is capable of.
That's not comparable whatsoever. Like it's totally different matchups. You cannot just throw Swiatek from today into a match like Sabalenka or Rybakina when she's constantly on the back foot, constantly. Well, maybe not constantly, but like, yeah, she really has to fight for that dominance on the court. I think that, such comparisons are basically nonsense for the most part. And yeah, because of that, we can't really judge form.
So you think because of
these matches,
the ball and the opponent and the performance she's getting on the other side of the neck means Iga sort of can't play as spectacular as she can do against the top.
No, that's not at all what I was trying to say. All I'm saying is that if she was playing Sabalenka or Rybakina, like that's not really a comparison that we can make, because then the matchup would look very different, and the form, the dynamics of play would be very different to today.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Was she spectacular here? I mean, maybe second and third set. If there was anyone who was letting the other player off the hook today, that was Iga Swiatek today in the first set, rather than Beatriz Haddad Maia later on.
Any final words from you, Cup?
No.
Fair enough. I think it's been summed up. Yeah, it's been summed up. I just wonder if maybe the Iga's focus in the first set was just gone there a little bit. She was extremely frustrated with how that first set went, and probably should have even got it back on serve at 5-4. But anyway, it doesn't matter. She did reopen her bakery that some people in the live chat were suggesting was a thing of the past in the second set, and in a way, a 6-2 set in the third as well is of a similar nature.
6-2 is like a croissant, If we have a bagel, a breadstick, then a 6-2 should be like a croissant or something like that.
But I would argue that maybe a croissant is the creme de la creme of the three aforementioned pastries.
No, but bagel is pretty. Actually, it doesn't need to be. But bagel is round, right? So you got that 0. That's why it's a bagel.
Yeah, I got it.
Breadstick is 1 because it's like long.
You think a 2 looks like a croissant?
No, actually, no. But I wasn't thinking about that. But a 1, I guess, could be a breadstick or a baguette. And now we just have to find a bakery product that looks like a 2. And if I imagine how a 2 looks. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty hard. It's gonna be pretty hard.
I'm just hungry now.
There's a swan.
I am as well.
There's a swan. Damien, you're always hungry.
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, there's the swan I think has been used before, but I don't think it's ever been turned into a sort of bakery type product. Maybe there's a cake out there that does swans, etc. Anyway, on that bombshell. Thanks for dropping by, Damien, and also Cup. Thanks to enjoying this match together.
Always here to talk croissants, bagels, and breadsticks. See you.
Take care. Cheers, Cup. Cheers, Damien. Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.